What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another review. This time we're taking a look at Escape from LA, directed by John Carpenter, starring Kurt Russell. Escape from LA once again sees Kurt Russell return to his role as Snake Plissken, where this time the United States government needs him to go inside LA, which has now been turned into a supermax prison, kind of similar to New York. However, he has to go to retrieve this black box, which pretty much is whoever has possession of this box can pretty much has the world in their hands. And the United States government, particularly that of the president, who is played by Cliff Robertson, has tasked Snake with getting this box and taking down the threat of Quavo Jones, who wants the black box himself because he's starting a revolution. All right, that's pretty much Escape from LA. Let's talk about it. I don't care for Escape from LA. I don't think this movie is as good as Escape from New York. I think Escape from LA has a lot of good moments to it, but it also has just a lot of dumb, stupid, silly moments. So let me get my positives out of the way first. Kurt Russell as Snake Plissken. I get to see a Kurt Russell movie where he's bad. He's not bad in the role. You can clearly tell that Kurt Russell loves the Snake Plissken character. And in this movie, he slips back into that role like a glove. It's like he never left. Seeing Kurt Russell play a Snake Plissken that is now 15 years older is actually pretty cool. You know, he's pretty much... It's kind of like Clint Eastwood in The Unforgiven in a way. You know, Snake is like this retro guy who is now in this more modernized, high-tech world, but he still does things his way, and Kurt Russell plays it off really, really well. I enjoyed it. The supporting cast includes Stacy Keach, Cliff Robertson, Peter Fonda, Steve Buscemi. I thought they were all fine in their roles. Stacy Keach plays Malloy, who is kind of similar to how the Hulk character was from that first movie, though in this movie, the Malloy character is much more antagonistic towards Snake. But I enjoyed the bantering between Russell and Keach. I thought their bantering was actually pretty fun. Cliff Robertson, who plays the president in this movie, this president is basically a religious zealot who has taken just things that he finds to be damning towards God, and now he's throwing these people into L.A. And they turned LA into a supermax prison, very similar to New York. Now, beforehand, LA had suffered this 9.6 earthquake that pretty much cut itself off from the rest of the world. So they had the idea of just turning it into a supermax prison, and that's what this president did. This religious zealot who was a complete madman. But I thought Cliff Robertson played it well. He's clearly having a good time with the role. He's playing it very, very over the top. So I got no complaints. Peter Fonda plays a surfer dude, and I thought the handful of scenes that Fonda was in, I thought he was funny. I liked some of the bantering between him and Russell. That was okay. I am not a big fan of what this movie had Snake Plissken do with the surfer and many other things that they had the Snake character do. But I'll get to that momentarily. Steve Buscemi, who plays this character called Map to the Stars Eddie. I like Steve Buscemi as an actor, and I actually enjoyed the character Map to the Stars Eddie. He reminded me of the Cabby character from that first movie, so I got no complaints with that. And I like Steve Buscemi. Like I said, I like Steve Buscemi as an actor. I think he's actually really funny. And in this movie, I thought he was funny. Pam Grier, she makes an appearance in this movie. She plays this character known as Hershey, who is actually a transgender, who was once Carjack Malone, an associate of Snake. Pam Grier, she was fine too. You know, she comes in later on in the movie, whatever. The guy who played Quavo Jones, who was our lead villain, I thought he was fine. Though I think the character of Quavo Jones doesn't have 1/10 of the on-screen charisma or presence as the Duke from that first movie. I think to me, what I don't care about this movie, that it has a threat. Like Quavo Jones is the threat that the United States government wants to take down, and I think that's just something that I just don't care for. I think what made the Snake Plissken character work for me was that he was pretty much doing rescue missions. Like he was doing an unwanted rescue mission that he didn't want to do, but he did it anyway. This movie, he's not doing a rescue mission. He's doing a retrieve this MacGuffin thing so that we can stop this Quavo Jones guy. It's like the idea of having a lead villain didn't really do it for me, especially since the president is already being built up as the real lead villain. Quavo Jones just comes across as just some guy that Snake has to beat up. I just didn't really care for it at all. I mean, to the actor's credit, he's trying, but he doesn't have the on-screen presence as Isaac Hayes from Escape from New York. That's just me personally. Uh, from a production standpoint, the movie parts of the movie look really good, and parts of the movie look absolutely cheap, cheesy, and fake. The CGI in this movie is cringeworthy. Some of the green screen effect is garbage. Though some of the practical effects that are in this movie, they look really, really good, and I enjoyed it. Uh, forgot to mention, this movie also has a cameo from Bruce Campbell, who plays a surgeon of Beverly Hills, in a very horrific scene where these people have melting faces. Always fun to see Bruce Campbell in a movie, though his character dies after having maybe 3 lines of dialogue. Okay, whatever. Had to throw that fun bit in there. Now back to the things that I hate. Now we get into the things that I hate. This movie is goofy. It is cheesy. As I mentioned, the CGI in this movie is garbage. The things that they had Snake Plissken do is utterly stupid. You had scenes of him shooting hoops. Why? I don't want to see Snake Plissken play basketball. I want to see Snake Plissken get into gunfights and kill motherfuckers who are out to get him. I don't want to see Snake Plissken surfing with Peter Fonda, even though I like the Peter Fonda character. I don't need to see Snake Plissken surfing the waves, dude. No, I don't like it. It's so dull. It's so stupid. You have one scene at the end where Snake Plissken is paragliding into the Happy Kingdom. I'll give it that. Creative way to make an entrance, and it's not as cringy as Snake having to shoot hoops and surf, but still very, very dumb and stupid, and to me seems very out of character with Snake Plissken. And that's what this movie, to me, does. Like, there are certain moments where Snake feels like out of character. Like, he's doing things that I don't envision Snake Plissken doing. Snake Plissken should not be shooting hoops to save his life. He shouldn't be surfing to get from one point to the next. It's just so stupid. It's corny and it's cheesy, and I just don't like it. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say for Escape from LA. I really don't have a whole lot of things that I can tell you about this movie that I actually liked. I mean, there were certain action sequences I would say are good. I do like the whole surgeon. I do like the whole Beverly Hills scene where he's taking on the Surgeon General. That does have a horrificness to it. It's John Carpenter. He's one of the masters of horror, so I like that. The climax is actually very entertaining, I would say that. And the way Snake outsmarts everybody at the end is actually really clever and pretty cool. And the movie actually sets that up in a scene at the beginning of the movie. So I thought that was actually a pretty cool payoff. I like some of the supporting cast and some of the characters in this movie. But overall, the plot is just a rethread of Escape from New York. This movie doesn't really justify an existence This movie doesn't really do anything to expand on Snake's character and or overall story. This movie feels like a remake of Escape from New York with a more campier tone as opposed to that hardened, gritty tone that the first movie had. Like, in comparison, this is a silly action movie, while that first movie was a buttoned-down, serious, gritty action movie. Like, that's the thing. Escape from LA's tone is just so... It's just, to me, it feels very, very light. It doesn't feel hard-edged or, like, in your face. I mean, it has moments, but it has moments where it can be hard-edged, but they don't really last long because it goes right back to the goofiness, and I don't really like that. Like, the Escape movies, they should have had a consistent tone from that first movie that first movie established. This second movie should have expanded upon, but it didn't. And it should have told a story that wasn't just a rehash. But overall, like I said, I don't really hate Escape from LA. I think it's okay. It is entertaining overall. It's a guilty pleasure type of movie. And I'm going to give Escape from LA a 5 out of 10. It's in the middle. It's right in the middle. I don't hate it, but I don't like it. But I can watch it and be entertained by it at least. But that first movie overshadows this one by a large margin. So if out of curiosity, if you want to see Escape from LA, go ahead. You're not really missing much, with the exception of maybe a handful of things. Overall, yeah, 5 out of 10 for Escape from LA. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment sections down below. Like the video and subscribe, and I will check you back next time for more.